Happy VA Wednesday. So today we're going to be talking about why you should always get a second opinion if you are declined for a VA loan. So if you're new to the channel, I'm a lender licensed in 48 states, everywhere but Utah and Rhode Island, currently ranked the #1 VA loan officer in America. This is all me and my team do all day long. Do we do other loans? Yes, but is VA our wheelhouse? Is it where we're like happy? Yeah, it is. So recently I was on a podcast with SMA Jack Tilley. I was a little nervous because, you know, that's pretty high ranking, and I was like, oh, this is gonna be a really stiff he was so much fun. And we really got into what veterans need to know. So I'm gonna have a link to that in the body if you guys wanna check that out. We talked about if you should go and get a second opinion if you are declined. That was one of the topics because I see it happen all the time. You know, one of the things that really killed me in 23 is I got a couple calls from veterans where they're like, hey, like I really want to refi because my credit's good enough now. And I'm like, I look at it and I'm like, what was your credit before? And they tell me, and I'm like, well, why didn't you refi then? Oh, XU told me I can't. I didn't have a high enough credit score. Or XYZ told me I can't. I didn't have a high enough credit score. Guys, with VA, there is no minimum credit score. So you're gonna see lenders treat it differently. Some of the lenders where they just have calls coming in all the time because people think that they actually are the VA, which they're not, they may have a limit of like 620 or 600. You know, I've seen 640, but there's so many other lenders that do not have that limit. You know, I could have easily done their loan in 2022, 2021 had they called, right? What's hard about that is that in those situations, especially, interest rates were so much lower in 2020, 21, and 22 than they were in 23. And a veteran was basically deprived the opportunity to save money because the lender said their credit wasn't good enough. And you may go, well, Jen, if they know that other people can do lower credit scores, shouldn't they tell the veteran to go look? Yeah, they should. They should. But look, sometimes they don't know. I mean, if you're calling a call center, who knows what the level of education is? So sometimes they know, sometimes they don't, but most lenders aren't going to refer you to other lenders because they don't want to lose the business. It's a greed thing. They would rather you just go do what they tell you and come back. So that was really heartbreaking. So #1 reason I see people declined when they shouldn't be is credit score. That's right. Now, what also plays into that credit score is sometimes you'll be talking to a lender where they're like, yeah, we do 600, no worries. But with the interest rate that they're offering you, you're like, wow, your debt to income's too high, or you can't get to the level you need to be. Get a second opinion. I'm telling you this right now. This stuff I see in terms of rates and fees in that like 560 to 620 bucket of credit varies so dramatically based on lender. Like, we've been very cognizant of the fact that VA itself does not have pricing hits. They don't on lower credit scores to not, you know, make the rate super high. But there's a lot of lenders where they're like, oh, well, since there's less competition and this person doesn't have perfect credit, we can make more money. And then it makes it so you qualify for less. So if you've been declined because of your credit score, give us a call, 786-933-2077. If you have a credit score and you feel like, gosh, my rate's higher than it should, call us. Seriously, call. Like, even at 760, we're seeing people get ripped off. Like, you should always be shopping your rate and fees. One of the biggest lenders in the VA space, like, they are so expensive, it's crazy. It's crazy. So yes, you should be shopping your rates and fees as well. What is another reason that I'll see people get declined? I'll also see people get declined because of stupid reasons, right? Like, the one I'm thinking of right now is actually a client last week, and I had fully underwritten him. We were going through, you know, here's your VA approval, talking about it. And he goes, are you sure you can do this? And I'm like, yeah, I'm sure I can do this. Like, this is what we do all day. You've been underwritten by an underwriter. He's like, because another lender had told me they couldn't do VA and they had to do FHA. What? Yeah, they said that VA wouldn't take my loan. I was looking at the loan, guys. the loan was totally fine. There was nothing on there that was problematic. It wasn't even a manual underwrite, which means we had to go an extra level. It was just clean. And I'm like, huh. And he's like, yeah, it's because of this one thing. And I looked at the one thing, it was a collection, and I'm like, it's fine. It's not a big deal, it's okay. And he's like, really? I'm like, yeah, it's okay. And he's like, wow. So what happened? The lender didn't know how to do VA. So I asked for the lender's name because I have software where I can look up how much business lenders do. And my guess was that this lender didn't do a lot of business and they did very little VA. The real estate agent had said, they do a lot of VA, they're an expert, because the real estate agents always say that, regardless of the truth. The lender had closed 35 loans last year. Of that, 2.9% were VA. Yeah, they don't know anything about VA. And so they declined a veteran and tried to put them in a loan that they understood, even though this VA loan's a better benefit for the veteran. And I think that's something that you all need to understand. VA, it's not like when you become a lender, you have to learn certain programs and be good at them. Like, there's no requirement. So unless you are doing a lot of VA or you're, really ambitious about learning guidelines, the average loan officer doesn't have a clue. It's that simple. And I hate to say it, but it's true, And is there stuff they can learn along the way? Yeah, but if you just got declined, call an expert, call an expert team that deals with this every single day. Don't go into a higher cost loan because the loan officer says you should. FHA, you'd have to put down money. There's monthly mortgage insurance, whereas with VA, it's zero down and there's no mortgage insurance. No. Okay, really be mindful of that, because I see a good amount of lenders who try to switch VA to FHA, and it's generally just because they don't know how to do VA. It's no other reason. So they'll just say, oh yeah, we can't do it. You don't qualify for VA, when the veteran does. And you may be going, God, aren't there consequences or penalties for that, Jen? No. No, it's like impossible to police. So no. So here's the key. If you've been declined for a VA loan, always get a second opinion. Whether it's me and my team or someone else, get a second opinion. If you're getting a rate that seems super high and it's making it so you can't afford what you want, get a second opinion. There's so much nonsense with VA rates and fees, how lenders pitch it. VA does not set the rates. VA does not set the fees. We see it vary by $12K on a $300,000 loan. I can't talk because I keep on trying to figure out how I can convey to you guys the craziness of the stuff that we see. But I just don't even think people think I'm telling the truth at this point because it sounds so nuts. But then when they call us, they're like, oh my God. And I'm like, mm-hmm. And sometimes if someone says, I'm working with XU, I'm like, yeah, we're gonna beat that. That's not even gonna be hard. So make sure you're getting a second opinion on rates and fees. And then also keep in mind, you might be declined for VA just because the loan officer doesn't know how to do VA. No joke. There are loan officers in America that do not know that with an active duty military member that you can count BAH towards income. Think about that. Terrifying. So a little bit of a hyped up video, but here's the bottom line. I don't want you guys being talked out of your VA loan when you should be totally eligible for it. I don't want you ending up with higher rates and fees just because you're working with a predatory lender. I don't want you giving up your dream of home ownership because one lender has an overlay that another lender doesn't. Now look, can I do every loan? No. Do I have some loans where I know, hey, I can't do this because of my guidelines, but I have a friend who I think can? Yes. And if I do look at your loan and say, hey, I don't think I can do this, but I think so-and-so can, will I do that? Every day. I've done that my entire business. If there's something I can't do and I think someone else can do it, I'm gonna give you their name. You know why? I shouldn't be the blockade to your home buying dreams. So look, questions, comments, want a second opinion, 786-933-2077, or book a time on the calendar. Look, we're here to help. And if you want us to check your rate and fee, as you should, seriously, you gotta get those double checked, reach out. And look, just because someone says they're a VA loan expert does not mean they are. So I hope the video was helpful. Thanks for watching.